And welcome back to another episode of Born Talk About Sports. I'm your host, Steve Boren. It's Tuesday, December 19th. I know Christmas is a coming. And the Senators finally did it. DJ Smith and assistant coach have been let go, replaced by coaching consultant brought in just a few weeks ago. No coincidence. And former Sens head coach, Jaques Martin. And coming down with him as an assistant coach is Hall of Famer Daniel Alfredson. I'm not too sure why Alfie's there. I've heard the idea that he's a bit of a liaison, I guess, between Martin and the players, in case Martin's just so he can communicate as a bit of a better communicator, because it has been a while since Jaques Martin has been behind the bench. Last he was behind the bench it was in the early or late 2000s, early 2010s when he was with the New York Rangers. So Ottawa's now officially out of excuses. They've made the coaching change. It really does sound like, from what I've heard through the media and reports in the Ottawa market, that uh, Martin is just a patchwork there. He's there for mop up duty, and they're currently looking for a permanent one. The name I've already heard is John Gruden, who is the current head coach of the Toronto Marlies, former head coach of the Hamilton, now Brantford Bulldogs in the Ontario Hockey League, the juniors. The reason his name is brought up is because the current interim Ottawa GM, Steve Staios, was the GM in Hamilton. So they have that connection. That's one name that's being brought up. Personally, I think Ottawa needs an experienced coach to get these guys over the hump. They don't need another rookie head coach. DJ Smith proved that he couldn't do it. I don't, like I said, he might be the nicest guy in the world, but he obviously can't coach a winner. At least not in the NHL level. So I do think Ottawa needs somebody who has, like, Jaques Martin would be perfect if he wants to stick around. The guy's 71. If he wants, he could retire off in the sunset. But it's about time. I'm glad for the Sens fans. It looks like, I know everything I've read, that they didn't want to make this move, but they had no choice. The team wasn't responding. Brady Tkachuk is obviously getting frustrated out there, and it just, something had to be done. And with the fans chanting "Fire DJ" and all this stuff in the media, after this West Coast trip where they've got the game tonight in Arizona, they could not bring him back. It wouldn't be fair to him. Just like a guy referenced last week with the Leafs and why the Leafs had to fire Ron Wilson. Brian Burke said, "I just can't do that. I can't keep him around. It was just too toxic." But yeah, so be interesting what Ottawa does now. Do they have what they call I hate this term, the dead cat bounce, where they, after firing the coach, they roll off a few victories? Edmonton did it. Well, Edmonton, basically, when Connor McDavid gets healthy, they get a few saves from Skinner and Pickard, and then they win seven in a row before they just hit a bit of a speed bump here. St. Louis fired Craig Berube. They won two or three in a row since then. Minnesota fired their coach. They wheeled off a bunch of victories. It's not a coincidence. Being said, though, Arizona is a tough team. I mean, they've started to level out a little bit over the last couple of weeks, but they're still not an easy out. And playing in Mullet Arena and 5,000 seats at 5,000 seat college arena, it's definitely a home field or home ice advantage, just because with the bounces and the acoustics and communicating with your fellow teammates and stuff on the ice. It's a lot different doing it there and then say it would be Bell Center in Montreal or Madison Square Garden in New York City. Speaking of New York City and with the New York Rangers, they're in Toronto tonight to play the Leafs, looking to get some revenge after losing 7-3 on home ice. For injury reports, all I know is Matthews and Brody are back from the flu bug, and Marty Jones is starting for the Leafs. As I'm recording this, is around 1:30, quarter to 2 in the afternoon. New York still hasn't decided if it's going to be Shesterkin or not. My bet would be Shesterkin, just because get me back out there sort of thing. These guys embarrassed me one night. I want to get back and do something that hasn't been done in over 2 years and shut out the Leafs. So who knows? Um, they are honoring John Tavares tonight for career point 1,000 from a week ago. Not much other news in the NHL. Look out for Montreal. I know they're 11th or 12th in the East, but they're in that log jam that's only within a couple of points of the last playoff spot while going into the NHL trade freeze for the next 10 days. So that's my surprise team in the East right now is Montreal, considering no one had them anywhere near a playoff spot, let alone 2 points out less than a week before Christmas. Going to the NFL last night, what do we say about them Eagles? Not so much fly Eagles fly anymore. Seahawks pull off the big 2-minute drill comeback with the interception with 10 seconds left to seal it. I know Jalen Hurts was battling through a flu bug, but still, there's no excuse. I'm sure you're facing Drew Lock, for God's sakes, who was kicked out of Denver. Right now, the only team in that NFC that looks unbeatable is the San Francisco 49ers. Eagles have shown their warts. The Cowboys have showed their warts on Sunday night. Outside of those are your quote-unquote 3 elite teams in the NFC. Other than that, there isn't much out there. The South is a joke. The Lions, yeah, but they're not playoff tested, so who knows what to think of them. They could be one and done in the first round, or they could go to the NFC Championship. And then, like I say, in the South is just, you're like 6-7, 7-7 is for the division lead. Yeah, no. But we got a couple of interesting games on Saturday on the 23rd for the NFL, and so we are with only 3 weeks left. Every game is important. Every down is important. Got to it's gonna be fun to watch. Let's put it that way. It's gonna be fun to watch. As far as NBA goes, Pistons chalk up another one. That's, I believe, 23 losses in a row now, and they've tied for the third longest losing streak in NBA history, only 2 or 3 away from setting the record. And they don't have a Washington or a San Antonio or another true bottom feeder that they can even say may contend with. Like I said yesterday, I do think that this Pistons team could go down as one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in NBA history. So again, something to look for, to keep an eye on with the NBA. Literally nothing happened yesterday in Major League Baseball free agency. I think in the pitching market, everyone's waiting for either Snell or Yamamoto to sign. And in the position player market, it really sounds like everyone's waiting for Cody Bellinger to sign. There's some rumors, speculation that it's between the Jays and the Cubs. Because since both teams lost out in Shohei Ohtani, they've got money to spend. One rumored deal I heard was 8 years, 210. Only if there's club or player options or some sort of club option, because guy has only had one good year in the last 4 years. So a long commitment for a guy who had one good year after 3 years of absolutely putrid play. It's a risk. And a GM, whoever signs it, whether it be Ross Atkins here in Toronto or GM in the Cubs, you're taking a risk. And you could possibly, if it's Ross Atkins and this blows up his face, it could put his job on the line. Let's face it, Jay's playoffs last 3 years, or last 3 times in the playoffs in 2020, 2022, and 2023, they're 0 for 6. They've lost 7 straight playoff games going back to Game 5 of the ALCS in 2016. They're tied with Tampa for the longest playoff losing streak right now. How long before we can say Atkins doesn't know how to put this team over the top? This might be his last shot. Only got 2 years left with Vlad and Bo, and Ross Atkins has proven he refuses to sign guys to extensions. I think the only one really to buck the trend was Jose Barrios, and I think that's because Barrios told him, "I'm staying. You're signing me." I think he had, and so who knows? But like I say, with Cody Bellinger, I do think once he signs, you're going to see a lot more outfielders, including former Blue Jay Teoscar Hernandez sign because, like I said, former Blue Jay Gurriel signed in Arizona, and the only reason I think he's signed there is because, hey, you went to the World Series, you got a good thing going. It's in the desert. You've got a really good team, and let's face it, the Diamondback players look like they had a lot of fun. And Gurriel is, I mean, just look at him without a hat on. The guy's got tie-dyed hair and spiked like a pineapple. The guy loves it. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to say about Major League Baseball. Is I think once you see the big name Cody Bellinger sign, I think the dominoes will fall after that. So, yeah, that's pretty much going through the big topics. Yeah, we're getting to the Christmas era right now where the NFL, like I mentioned earlier, is heating up. Playoff races are heating up. You're going to need the big boards to decide, okay, if this team beats this team, this beats this team, what does that mean for my guys? As a Bills fan, all I care about is either seeing the Browns, Bengals, sorry, Tyler and Mike, Colts lose, one of those teams lose, or Miami lose, so the Bills have a shot at a playoff spot or a division. That's all I care about at this point. As a Bills fan. As a football fan, though, you want to see the stars in the playoffs. You want to see the Josh Allens in there. You want to see the Tua Tagovailoas in there. I'm sorry, Colts fans. Gardner Minshew does not bring in ratings. Yeah, again, something to keep an eye on. But with the NFL, like I said, the NFL is the only thing really heating up right now. The NHL is going through their usual motions right now. NBA is gearing up for their Christmas Day games on Monday, and the NHL, I guess, is going to get into Winter Classic mode in Seattle with Seattle and Vegas. Even though I guarantee about 3/4 of the state doesn't, about 90% of that state won't care because University of Washington Huskies are in the college football semifinal later that day. Bad luck for the NHL having your latest two expansion teams face each other in your showcase event, and no one cares because college football. Especially when the local team is in the national semifinals. An NHL game, regardless if it's in the stadium or not, we'll always take second. We'll always take at least or a best second string. Yeah. So, yeah. So, sorry guys, I'm just having some fun here. Tell me what you think. Like this video or not. Tell me if you think Ross Atkins can actually build a team to win a playoff game. If he overpays Bellinger and Bellinger craps the bed, is Atkins' job on the line? Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. We're at 25 subscribers right now. Let's keep it going. Let's ride the momentum. And until then, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.